Last week I ended by saying the key to overcoming sin in our lives is believing in the finished work of the cross and allowing the Holy Spirit to change us as a result of that belief. Well, I want to look at another one of those verses that is often used to make the gospel seem harder than it really is. That's Philippians chapter 2, verse 12, where we are told to work at our salvation with fear and trembling. And sometimes that verse is used to suggest that our salvation somehow rests on us, that we have to earn it, that we have to maintain it, that we have to do things in order to secure it for ourselves. Nothing could be further from the truth. What this verse is really telling us is that we ought to live from the reality of who Jesus has made us to be. The key to understanding this verse is reading within the context of the chapter as a whole. So Philippians 2, it begins in verses 1 through 4. It says, if there's any benefit from being united with Christ, if there's anything good has come into your life because of your decision to believe in Jesus and follow Jesus, you ought to live this way. But what we need to see, it's really important, is that he then doesn't go on and prescribe a set of behaviors that we ought to do and a set of behaviors that we ought to avoid. It's not about rules and regulations. It's not talking about behaviors whatsoever. It's talking about a way of being. It's not talking about what you do. It's talking about who you are. It's not talking about your behavior. It's talking about your character. It's talking about living out who Jesus has created you to be because of your belief in him and the finished work of the cross. And this is a work that only God can do for us. We might be able to adjust our behavior. We might be able to make some behavior change happen in our lives, although it's never enough and it's never permanent. We can never bring about character change. The work that we really need in our lives is nothing we can do for ourselves and something that we're completely reliant and dependent on the Holy Spirit to do for us. We're talking about character change, not about behavior change. And then we go into Philippians 2, verse 5 to 11, which is that famous passage. It's this beautiful picture of what Jesus has done for us. It paints the picture that Jesus paid such a high price. He did so much hard work so that we didn't have to pay the high price and we don't have to do the hard work. And if you don't know that passage, Philippians 2, 5 to 11, I encourage you to go and read it. Again, it's in the video description below, just like our verses always are. But it paints a picture of the price that Jesus paid. What we're supposed to get from that is that he's paid such a high price, there's nothing left for us to pay. Then we get into verse 12, we're told to work out our salvation with fear and trembling. And then it goes immediately into verse 13 where it says, for it is God who's at work within you, giving you both the desire and the power to do what you ought to do. So it's not us at work, it's God at work. God is doing that deep character change, that deep nature change that we have no way to bring about for ourselves, but he's able to do it for us. When we're told to work out our salvation with fear and trembling, we're being told to work out the implications of our salvation, to let our lives be reflective of the good thing that Jesus has done for us, to allow the Holy Spirit to produce a new person, a new character within us, and to live that out. We're not being told in any way to go out and earn and deserve our salvation. And we do this by focusing on Jesus, on the finished work of the cross, of the magnitude of the thing he's done for us, and the great price that he was willing to pay for us. Jesus has done the hard work and he's paid the great price so that it wouldn't be hard work and a great price for you and I.